Hey guys, it's Sanjana and today I created this orange monochromatic Euphoria inspired look, and if you want to see how I achieved it then just keep on watching. So jumping straight into it, I'm just going in with the Colourpop No Filter Concealer in the shade 26 and 24, and I'm just going to use that as my eye base today for this look. I'm pretty much going in with the shade that is more closer to my skin tone, so shade 26 right underneath my brow, and I'm also kind of defining my brow shape with that color. And then I'm going in with the lighter shade, so shade 24, and I'm just placing that all over the lid with a brush before going in with a sponge to kind of blend it out a bit more seamlessly. I also did my brows off camera, so I thought I'd just mention that as well. So I'm just setting that concealer with some translucent setting powder, just placing that all over the eyes so the concealer does not crease. So I'm going to go into the BeautyBay x MMMMitchell eyeshadow palette, and I'm going into the shade Mixer, and I'm going to use this shade to create a guideline of how I want the eye look to look or to be positioned. So I'm pretty much just kind of using that along my crease and then kind of slightly winging it out. And yeah, so now I'm using the P.Louise base in the shade OTT Orange, and I'm just going to follow that guideline with that color, and then with a dense fluffy brush I'm just going to buff it out so it's not a harsh line. So yeah. I'm also using that base all over the eyelid and then kind of placing that underneath where I've winged out that line. And I'm also using the shade Mental from the MMMMitchell palette to kind of set that base in place. So now I'm going to go back into the shade Mixer, which is that turmeric yellow color, and I'm just using that to further blend out the edges of the shadow. And just to kind of fix the shape of the eyeshadow, I went in with a little bit of concealer around the edges. And going into foundation, I used the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation in the shade F10.5. And I'm going to say it right now, this foundation is a bit too light for me. I realized that after I put the foundation all over my face, and I wasn't really bothered to kind of remove it and apply the correct shade. So hopefully, you know, I did fix it with the contouring and everything else I did. But yeah, I do apologize if this does bother you, so I'm sorry. So to cream contour my face, I went in with the Colourpop No Filter Concealer in the shade Deep Dark 56, and I'm just kind of dotting that on my cheekbones and blending that out with a brush. I usually don't blend out with a brush, I usually have a sponge. I usually use like the sponge that I blended my foundation with, but I think I was just trying out a new technique when I did this. But pretty much I'm applying that on my cheekbones, my jawline, and on the edges of my forehead, and just pretty much everywhere, like wherever there's meant to be shadows on the face, that's where I'm placing it essentially. So yeah. I think the reason why I decided to use a brush rather than a sponge when blending out my cream contour was because every time I use a sponge it does soak up a lot of product, so I guess I just wanted my cream contour to be a bit more pigmented to kind of counteract that foundation color. But yeah, anyways, I am going in with a little bit of concealer, not too much because my foundation's already too bright, but I'm just using that concealer to kind of cover up any dark circles. I applied the Colourpop No Filter Concealer in the shade 26 and applied that underneath my eyes, on the center of my forehead, down the bridge of the nose, and on my chin. And honestly, with this particular concealer, a little bit does go such a long way, so you don't need to apply a lot. Yeah. So now going into the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, I'm just using that banana powder, like that banana shade, and I'm just using that to set underneath my eyes or just pretty much wherever I added the concealer. I'm also using that to kind of clean up underneath my cream contour and make it a bit more crisp, as you can see here. I didn't want this to bake for too long because my foundation was already bright enough, so I kind of wiped or like brushed it off almost immediately. But yeah, to set the cream contour, I couldn't find my little like insert picture of the product that I used, but I went in with the Australis, I think it's called a contour palette or AC on Tour palette, I never know, but I pretty much just mixed all those contour shades together and just applied that wherever I applied the cream contour. And then for blush, I'm going into the shade Mixer from that BeautyBay X MMMMitchell palette, and I'm just lightly adding that on my cheekbones just to kind of have a bit of color to my face. I wanted to kind of make this look a bit more monochromatic, so that's why I went in with a more orangey tone color for the blush. And I applied that on my nose as well. Going back into the eyes, I went in with that P.Louise shade, that orange color, and I just kind of applied that to my waterline. And then I also used the shade Mental to kind of buff out my lower lash line. Yeah. So now going in with some rhinestones that I got from the dollar shop, I'm pretty much just placing that just on the edges of that eyeshadow. I kind of wanted it to be like, so like the smaller kind of rhinestones would be closer to my inner corner, and then towards the outer corner, like in the middle part, I don't know if you can tell, but the stones get a little bit bigger, and then where it wings out, it's smaller again. So I kind of went with that and I liked how it turned out. And then so for mascara, I'm going in with the Colourpop BFF mascara in this shade Black on Black, and just applying that to my top lash and my lower lash before adding in some Ardell Demi Wispy false lashes. So while I struggle to put on my lash, which you'll see, hello, I just want to let you know I also set my face with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Setting Spray. I just couldn't find the video footage of that, but yeah, I put that on before going in with this e.l.f. highlight in the shade White Gold, and just pretty much applied that on my cheekbones and on the bridge of the nose and on the tip of the nose. And yeah. So just going in with the P.Louise base, that orange base, and placing that on the center of my lips before going in with the Colourpop So Juicy gloss. It's just a clear one, I don't know the name. Mine looks really dirty, but I promise I only use this one on myself. But yeah, that is pretty much it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. It's a little bit more different, it's a bit more funky and a bit more creative. Let me know what you guys think if you want more of this style. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.